Welcome to Success Today. I am Bob Guiney, and joining me is author, financial planner, the jack of all trades. You do a bunch of stuff, Robert Goldsmith. Robert, thanks for joining me. We have your book right here. I love the title, You're Earning What You Deserve, and That Sucks, which I think is pretty hilarious. And the title of your new book, tell me what that is.
That's called From Diapers to It Depends.
To It Depends.
Yeah, that's the consumer financial planning book. This is kind of the how to succeed in financial planning book.
Yeah, and I think, we were talking about this a little bit earlier. There's tons of financial planners out there. We get it, and everyone's got their own take on what is the most appropriate way to handle your finances. What separates you from the pack?
I think the most important thing is that there are a lot of individuals that focus on product selling, which means they're out there and they have a preconceived notion of what the client should be buying before they even get there. Mm-hmm. So it's really a sales genre, if you will. What we try to do is more of an organic approach, where we try to actually sit down with the client more like a doctor,
sure,
find out where their pain is. Some people don't even know they have a pain. Once we've revealed that, then we try to go back and find the solution. We have no ties to any specific carriers or companies, so it's really our job to represent the client to get them the best value.
Yeah, because I don't think there's a blanket process for anyone, right? Everyone's going to be unique in what they need, and that's really what it is. You have to figure out what their needs are and address those individually, right?
Absolutely. I mean, if you don't do that, then you're basically a salesman, not a financial advisor.
Sure.
If you will.
Now, you're born in New York, moved to LA, lived there for 30 years. Now you're in Dallas. Have these major markets where you've lived, has that influenced how you approach your business?
Well, let me tell you a little bit about myself first and foremost. I was raised in New York, mm-hmm, and my dad was a truck driver. My mom was a stay-at-home mom. I'm half Puerto Rican and half Jewish, which in New York makes you Italian.
Right.
And at the end of the day, my dad passed away when I was 17. So I think that my influence in the business is a direct result from the man above,
right,
because I was supposed to play first base for the Yankees. They decided to go with Don Mattingly instead. I don't know why. Probably a good decision, maybe. And at the end of the day, my goal has now been to make sure people don't suffer like I did, because my dad had no financial plan. He had no life insurance, had no savings account, left my mom destitute. So for all intents and purposes, while this wasn't my original master plan when I was growing up, I don't regret one bit for what I've done for the last 32 years.
Sure. In 17 years old, you're basically the man of the house at that point. Was it one of those things where you went to work basically to make sure that mom was taken care of?
Let me suggest that not only did I go to work, but mom took all the money.
Yeah.
And she needed it to pay the bills. In fact,
sure,
we had to sell a mortgage that was only $300 a month. Today, the house
gosh,
is worth, almost $750,000, and she didn't get a chance to enjoy it. So I think being in this business has really been the blessing, if you will, to help other people make sure they don't suffer that way. So I've enjoyed it. I can't complain one bit.
Well, I think that shows just how relatable you are. You're a big personality. Obviously, like you said, you're Puerto Rican and Jewish. It makes you Italian. I think that's hilarious because, I'm from Detroit, so I have those same types of visions about myself. But I think it's one of those things, too. Your industry is such that it kind of comes off at times to be a little more stuffy or a little more stodgy, and you seem to come at it from a real human level, which I love.
Yeah, I enjoy just getting down with people. In fact, and I hate to say this but every other Thursday you'll find me doing stand-up comedy down at the little comedy place.
Nice. See, that makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah, so I just enjoy making people laugh. To me, it's like, even when I sit down with doing a financial plan, it's really sitting down and getting to know the people. If you don't get to know the people and what's going on in their lifestyle, you're probably not doing what's right for them.
Yeah, it's really about listening to what they need, right?
Absolutely.
Now, I know you have tons of successful stories, I'm sure, that you could tell me, but if you had one client, one moment.
32 years, you want to pick one.
I want you to pick one.
Okay, I'm going to do two short ones.
You got it. I'm ready.
Short ones. Okay, two short ones. Here, the first one, if I said life insurance, most people perceive it as an unnecessary evil, mm-hmm, right? Something that I have to buy and take care of the family, make somebody else rich when I'm dead, right?
Right.
But what if life insurance was designed to pay you to live? And so here's a quick story. I have a client that actually was on vacation in Hawaii, ends up with stomach pain, goes to see a doctor in an emergency room in Hawaii, and the doctor says, you need to go back to Los Angeles. He goes back to LA, and his doctor says, you've got stomach cancer. You've got approximately 12 to 18 months to live. Oh my God. So his wife, him destitute, they've done absolutely nothing. They're sitting on the couch, and she relates the story to me, and she says, no, Walter, you're not going to suffer. We're going to find a way to cure this. So they went online, searched all the remedies they could, and found an experimental treatment up in Bend, Oregon. So they go through the experimental treatment, but they couldn't afford it. That was the first part. They went there and said, I can't afford this.
Yeah.
Well, he calls me up and says, Robert, is there anything we can do? Because I was managing his financial plan. And his life insurance policy gave him the opportunity to pull in 50% of the face amount of the plan that he could use while he was alive. So he takes the money, he goes through the treatment. He told me that his very first week, he wished he was dead. It was so painful, so
brutal?
excruciating, couldn't eat, couldn't do anything.
Yep.
Long story short, 4 weeks later, cancer's gone. Today, he's still alive.
That's
So
awesome.
life insurance in his case was purely life insurance, not death
Right.
insurance. So many
Right.
people don't realize that life insurance might in fact be the best commodity you can own. You could actually use a life insurance policy to pay for your health care. You can use life insurance policy to pay for long-term care. You can use a life insurance policy to supplement your retirement income. There's so much more you can do with just a life insurance policy, and we're not even touching all the rest of the financial plans that exist out there.
Right, right.
So we're kind of thrilled about what we're doing for people and helping them. But that's one story. Second story was kind of interesting. I had a lady who we were designing her financial plan, and she was reluctant to reveal all of her information. So she finally puts down her statement for a 401k, all the money she has in the world. And she says, Robert, here's the fact. I know I need more growth, but I also know I can't risk losing it in the marketplace.
Right.
So we
Which I would imagine a lot of people experience that type of fear, don't they?
Today,
Yeah.
after 2008, after 9/11, more and more people are concerned about how do I make my money grow, but I can't lose
Right,
this
we
money.
can't go backwards.
Absolutely,
Sure.
especially as you start to reach towards retirement.
Yeah.
So I showed her a plan that she could use where she could not only get the growth, but she'd have safety and security. So the first year, we move her money, and she gets a 13.86% return. She's ecstatic. 2008, we all know what happened, right?
Sure.
Market takes a big dump.
Tragic.
So Christmas time comes, I'm not even thinking about it.
Yeah.
Well, there's a card from her. I open it up, and there's a note. And she said, Robert, this is really long overdue. She said, I just got my account statement, and everybody that I know has been complaining about how much money they lost. She goes, when I got my statement, all my money was still there. Thank you very much. Merry Christmas. Have dinner on me. So, it's kind of neat when you know that what you've done is not only prestigious, rewarding, but you're helping people. And that's really what I kind of loved about our profession.
Oh, that's very touching. And plus, I mean, I can imagine for her realizing, I mean, that's got to be a unique moment for you too. I'm sure a lot of your clients probably never realize what you're doing for them in the long run.
Honestly, my wife, who is the backbone of our business as well, she was on a plane just the other day, and she started talking about my book and then talking about other people, and many people have no clue what's going on financially. In fact, I'm going to tell you that I believe 75% of the population has nobody they even consider their financial advisor.
Right.
And as a result, they're making improper decisions based on information they might be getting from a TV entertainer, the guy in the next cubbyhole, or perhaps even the brother-in-law who knows everything, right?
Sure, yeah, we all have that.
So long story short, I think that most of us are on a collision course for financial disaster. I mean,
Yeah.
I think many people think that because they have a 401k at work, or they have an IRA, or they have a group insurance plan, that somehow everything's going to be okay. They haven't given any thought to where they're going to be a year from now, 5 years from now, or how they paid it for kids' college, or if they'll ever be able to retire.
Right.
Some people are just bound to work for the rest of their life.
Yeah.
So, so we really focus on that holistic approach, find out where a person is. I think that our business is more like a GPS. When you get a GPS, it can't tell you where to go until it knows where you are.
Sure.
So we sit down with a client, we're going to find out where they are, and then we're going to show them how to get there.
Volatile market out there, a lot going on for people, as we mentioned earlier. Hard time for people to plan for retirement. If you had one piece of advice to give, what would it be?
There's the old-fashioned rule called the rule of 100 that says based on your age, you would subtract from 100 your age, and the percent is how much money you should have invested at risk. At the end of the day, however, as you reach 60, 65, 70, and you start talking about Social Security and Medicare and all the good things, the truth is you probably want less and less of your money at risk. The great news is there are products today that can give you some of that potential, make sure that you have some growth still there, but give you an income that you can never outlive for the rest of your life. So I think that's important, and I tell people there's two halves to financial planning. Number one is the accumulation phase. Number two is the decumulation or distribution phase. Like a game of football, if you win the first half but lose the second half, you lost.
Right.
So you've got to win both halves. We want to focus on helping people win both halves. So that's the most important thing to tell them. Don't just go out there thinking that everything is how I can be Warren Buffett. Think about how you can be yourself and succeed.
Well, I love it, man. How do people find you? How do our viewers find you?
Great way to find me, of course, if you're looking for a financial plan. We have a website, financial411.net. If you're thinking about enhancing your career, because the reason we had the book is to help people grow their business as financial advisors,
Right.
They can go out to advisorsintegrity.com. And when we use the word integrity, we define it by saying that we're doing what's right all the time, even when nobody's looking.
That's my favorite.
So that's pretty key to what we're doing.
Robert, thank you so much for joining us on Success Today. I appreciate it.
Hey, it's been my
Continued
pleasure.
success to you, my friend.
Thank you very much.
Definitely.